Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So some interesting news coming out of the middleweight division, I guess. Eddie Hearn has said that he wants to make Gennady Golovkin versus Demetrius Andrade in the new year. Of course, Eddie Hearn is Andrade's promoter, and I believe he co-promotes Gennady Golovkin. He said this to Sirius XM Boxing, and, to quote him directly, he said, "I'll be saying to the Zone, you have a contract with Andrade, you have a contract with Golovkin, let's put these guys together." Now, me personally, I would like to see this fight in the new year. Both guys are of course champions at 160, which would obviously make it a unification fight at middleweight, and quite frankly right now I think that's what the middleweight division needs. We've not had a unification fight in quite some time. Canelo is sitting on the WBA belt, not really doing anything with it. Charlo's got that WBC, nobody knows what he's doing next. You've got two guys on the same network, you might as well make these guys fight each other. And I think it would be a pretty interesting matchup, to be honest. I've been long awaiting Demetrius Andrade to really step up to the elite level. And, Gennady Golovkin would really signify that big step up, despite being 38 years old. I have to say, actually, in regards to this fight, if it were to be made early next year, sort of first half of next year, I would still favour Gennady Golovkin to beat Demetrius Andrade. I've just not seen enough from Andrade to really convince me that he's the cream of the crop. He's a good fighter, he's awkward, he's got a fairly nice jab, he's kind of ungainly, unorthodox. He's a difficult proposition, he's tall, he's rangy, he's fairly young, he's fresh. He's a difficult fight for Golovkin, but, I would still favour Golovkin at this point. I've just not seen enough from Andrade to really make me believe he's like the elite of the elite. And, this is the sort of fight in which he needs right now, as far as I'm concerned. I'm bored of Andrade fighting the likes of Luke Keeler. And as for Gennady Golovkin, he's got that IBF title back. He beat Derevyanchenko in a real hard fight. He had a bit of a layup in his last mandatory. I think Gennady Golovkin also needs a pretty tough fight in his next one, to see really what he's got left. And I think Andrade kind of fits that profile, despite me not being as high on him as other people are. I still think he's a pretty good fighter, so I would love to see the unification fight between Andrade and Gennady Golovkin. And it's interesting, there was a lot of talk over Billy Joe Saunders versus Demetrius Andrade, but from what I'm seeing online, Billy Joe Saunders now is in pole position to fight Canelo Alvarez middle of next year. Canelo is fighting Avni Yildirim by looks of it in February, but after that, it's looking like Billy Joe Saunders is in prime position to fight Canelo in the summer. So looks like Billy Joe versus Andrade has died a death. And it looks like, Billy Joe and Canelo are both out of the equation for Andrade and for Golovkin. And when you look at makeable fights for both guys, easy fights to make, the easiest fight to make right now for both guys is more than likely each other. Unification fight, interesting style clash. Both guys are with the same network. Both guys have the same promoter. Why not make this fight next? I'd be interested, to be honest. I'd like to see it. And I would favour Golovkin if this fight were to get made. But, ultimately I think this fight makes sense for both parties involved. And I would be intrigued to hear your thoughts on this potential fight. Do you want it to happen? Would you be excited? And if it did happen, who would you back to win this fight? Do you believe Golovkin is too old now to beat Andrade? Or like me, do you still have faith in Golovkin having enough to beat someone like Andrade? I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts below. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.